Well, hiya, Davi Jenda here from @WeLightBeans and @figure.8.energy on Instagram. And today we are on a bale of hay from a series of bales of hay. I've found a couple of them trying to find the perfect one, but some of them just had a lot of noise pollution, whether from music or generators, because we're at the Zen Awakening Festival right now. Brianna's asleep. Down there. Yes, I get very creative with being a mom and having this adventure life. And let's see if I could place you right there. No, it's not gonna work. I'll do it this way. You like my ears? I totally had my ears on for today's stage time. I was on the stage and I was teaching folks how to tap into their energy body and to activate their vocal tones, to activate, open, and recalibrate, work on their chakras, right? And it was magical. It was so powerful and beautiful, and every time I have the opportunity to do these things where I'm tapping into the collective's energy and I'm helping them through what they're doing and working on, and I'm sharing these tools, I feel so aligned. I feel soul aligned. And somebody said something to me, right? So after Qigong, it was time for me to go up, and everybody was dispersing. Like, there was nobody there. There was like one person who I already knew that showed up, and they're just kind of existing. And then there's this other person that goes to walk away, and then he walks up on stage and he's like, "Are those tuning forks?" And I said, "Yeah." And he was about to go to, I believe, a Vinyasa yoga. And that's where most people were going. They were going to Qigong and they're going to yoga because that's what people know, right? Everybody knows yoga now, and it's the thing to do. And I told him a little bit about what I was going to do, and he's like, "Wow, that sounds amazing. I think I'd rather do that," because like he already knew what yoga was, and he feels like doing this would actually help his yoga practice even more. And I'm just like, absolutely. And he went to go tell his friends that he was going to do this and see if they could come as well. And he ended up hopping over and without his friends, right? Just him. And it was fine because I could have call out there, and I was just, I don't remember exactly what I said, but I was basically calling the light beings over so that we could do chakra work and energy medicine and work on our light bodies, right? And so of course the divine beings came, the ones who were ready to be open and receptive for that type of healing, and not just that type of healing, but that type of information. Because once you have these tools, it's on you. Like, you're the one who is deciding basically whether or not you want to move forward and evolve, because once you know how to do it, there is no excuse on why you have to be suffering, So anyways, we go through this, and there's like a divine amount of people showing up, and I'm just like feeling the energy of the people who are just resonating with it. And some folks came up to me afterwards and were telling me their testimonies too, and it's lovely. I love to hear that. I love it when people are receptive, and I know there's more people that don't come up to me and approach me with this stuff than there are not. But for the ones that do, for the ones that comment, for the ones that like, the ones that send me messages, the ones who walk up to me in person, it helps motivate me to do this more, because it just like sparks my fire, right? I'm gonna do it anyways, but I'm even more charged to do it if you let me know that it's helping, And so anyways, this fella comes back up, and he was grateful that he did decide to do this over the yoga because it's valuable to him. And we got into like a really great conversation, and it just got me to thinking about intuition, right? And gut feelings. And the divine guidance that we get from our angels, ancestors, and spirit guides. They show up in these little nudges, right? It's like a whole crew of people is going one way. So what does the flock typically do? The flock follows the crowd. And then there's just like this little glimmer of something, and then you feel enticed, and it's like, then you have a choice. Do you continue going with the flock, or do you venture out a little bit and do a little bit of exploring? And also, why did something spark your eye? Maybe because it's meant for you. Maybe the divine is just like flashing a sign at you and saying, hey, what about this? Like, you know this, what about this? Everybody's doing that, what about this? And that experience can change your life. Not getting all egotistical in it and being like, yeah, I changed this person's life. But it was one of those instances where somebody decided to do something even though the peers around them weren't going to do it. And they were grateful for it. And so I'm just here to encourage you to do that. You know, if you want to do something, maybe you have people around you who are just like, nah, I'm not interested. Or even tell you advice against it. Like, maybe just listen to the guides, because maybe you were shown something else because you were ready for it. Maybe you're ready for the next step, the next level. Maybe you're ready to evolve past something that you already know. Yes, you know that this other thing is helpful because you've done it so many times, but what about this other thing that you haven't done yet? Imagine what getting outside of your routine, outside of your norm can do. I am reflecting back on how many times over the course of my life I've shared things that I was excited about, and I was met with adversity or animosity or negativity, and sometimes it got me down, right? And other times I woundedly used it as motivation, right? How I would channel my anger was, so back when I was going to open the vegan food truck, right? I had so many people telling me that it was not going to work because X, Y, and Z, here's the proof that this stuff doesn't work. And I was like, no, it will work because I want it to work, because I see what needs to be done. I see a need here. Like, I want it here. So I know there has to be other people who want it here too. And even if they don't want it yet because they haven't experienced it, because they don't know what they want, unless some people don't know what they want unless they see it, right? They have to like show it to them. I'm going to be that person. And all these naysayers, and guess what? Day one of opening the food truck, long line, stretched out around the pond, and I'm just like, wow, I did not expect this. I expected like a trickle of folks, not like an entire line of beings. And then at that time, I wasn't prepared for that. It was my first day with a food truck. I didn't take any sort of like training manual, and it was chaos on the inside. We got our foods out. There was like a 2-hour wait. That's how long people were waiting in line. And it's not because like we were so disorganized, it's because there were so many orders. And it was beautiful. We sold out, and you know, the story goes on from there. And that was one of the ways I was just like, I channeled people's negativity into fire. I mean, like, you know what? I am upset that you don't believe that I can do this, and so I'm going to do it. I'm going to show you anyways, right? And I did it. And same thing as with like the way that I live my life, the way that I guide my children through life too. You know, so many people dish out all of these different advice on how to raise their child, and I'm just like, and gracefully, but in my mind, this is what I think. If it's something that I do not like, or they're saying something against the way that I am guiding my light beings, and it's just like, you had the opportunity already. You had that. I'm not going to say what the results of it was, but what I'm going to say is you had your opportunity, and now it's my opportunity. You raised your children with the knowledge that you had, with the perceptions that you had. That was your chance, and now it's my turn. It's my turn. I made my beautiful children, and I get to be able to share that. with them, share my guidance with them, because they chose me. You know, they chose me for a reason. And so despite the way people have mocked me in the past, the way I speak to my children, I see the difference, you know? I've had somebody be like, no, your boy's gonna sound like me, because you're so sweet. And I'm just like, one, what if he is sweet? That would be great. But also to try to demasculate my son at such a young age, just because I am not yelling at him, because I don't put myself at that frequency, because I don't want to put myself at that frequency, because I believe in conscious parenting in a way that, you know, maybe past generations haven't. Oh yeah, 11. Maybe past generations didn't have the knowledge that we have today, and didn't have all the data to look at. But we have the internet, so now we can see. We have all these different. We basically have a variety of ways that we can approach things, that we can choose to do. There's not just one way. Not one way is right and not one way is wrong, but we get to choose as the parents. And isn't that absolutely beautiful? And so, like, that's what I'm doing. And I do see a difference. My son is very sweet. He's also fiery sometimes too. He can totally get down in the dirt and roar, and he does get angry sometimes because, hello, he's a child, you know, a tiny body, big energy body, trying to figure out how to regulate it all. And I'm not going to combat it with roar, right? I'm going to come to it with compassion, because I can see that's what's happening. I can see that he's getting angry right now because A, he's tired, or B, he's hungry, or C, there's too much stimulation, or he's actually distraught right now and doesn't know how to handle these really big emotions because he's experiencing this all for the first time. Unlike a lot of us, we've been on this planet for how many decades? We've had time to navigate our emotions, to regulate them. And some of us are still working on regulating our emotions. So yeah, let's give the children some grace and help them, guide them that like we wish we were guided, right? Whatever wisdom that you have gotten from your life on this earth, that's what you pass to your children. You make it easier for them so that they're not sitting here in the spot that you are at this age with your level of consciousness. You want them to surpass you. That's the whole thing of evolution. And the only way that we can do that is if we think for ourselves, if we take those guides seriously, and we're just like, hey, you know what? Yeah, I see this as a sign. I'm thinking differently than all these things, and maybe I'm supposed to. Maybe it's the age of Aquarius, and things are changing. Oh, anyways, I'm looking at my invisible watch because I can't wear a watch, kinetic energy. We can talk about that another time. But I know it's around the time for me to go to a workshop to support one of my friends at the festival, and Brian is asleep, so now I can go without him. Trying to love on everybody, because he is a big lover. Oh my goodness, the way he can walk into a room and just like make it bend towards his will. Little king. I'm trying to help him navigate that. Yeah, with all that being said, thanks for tuning in today, and like I mentioned in the beginning, your feedback, it really matters. I read everything, I respond to everything, and I want to know how I can help y'all more and how I can grow, or if I'm doing a good job. Maybe just a thumbs up will work too. Okay, peace y'all.